Jagaban can say it exactly the way
firing shots.
It is holding no punches there. Dr. Joy is still very much with us in the studio, and we've since been joined by Honorable Ayodele Adewale, an APC member, joining us as well. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Thanks for staying with us.
Thank you for
Okay, congratulations would be in order, right? That the APC convention has finally come and gone, in spite of the fact that there's still a few people who feel that this has not gone exactly the way they expected it to go. But is it good when you hear from Oshomole to the president himself that, yes, we do recognize that there are issues, but we will solve this? Especially President Buhari, who said that the different issues that we have right now are the price we have to pay for success.
Well, quite frankly, they've all spoken like statement that they are, and it is also very good that each and every one of them have noted that, yeah, there are issues, but above all, they're going to work around these issues to move forward. And like one man did say, it's not how many times that you fall that matter, but the number of times you're able to stand up to keep moving forward. And the party is moving forward, particularly with the consensus of Comrade Adam Oshomole. Yeah. You're going to see an ideologically driven system this time around. Like I was talking to somebody not too long ago, you're going to see a lot of rejig in the system. The youth are going to play a more prominent role. The leadership is also going to be, contended headlong in terms of ideas. You're going to have robust discussion, meetings, and all of these things. It's going to be a departure from where we're coming from.
And it seems that the encouraging factor to this is that, like you said, the new chairman of the party came to be through consensus arrangement. And listening to his speech, what he said, the promise he has made to the party and to Nigerians in general anyway, seemed to be light at the end of the tunnel, right?
Yes, there is a light at the end of the tunnel. He knows where he's coming from. He's coming from a background of struggle, a background where you need to move purposely towards achieving a goal. You don't miscue. You understand? He doesn't miscue, looking at his background, and he's going to bring his experience to bear.
Okay, Dr. John, from your standpoint, what is your impression about this convention that's happened?
Okay, my impression generally is, I sincerely hope that the work will actually begin from the talk. Because I have studied APC over time, and I think they do not have problem with ideology. They do not. PDP too does not have problem with ideology. Either it is clear or not, they know that this is the path they want to toe. But the courage to do what they know has always been the issue. So now we have a man who is on board. My hope is that we have the courage, because either we like it or not, like never before, there will be issues that will even emerge as a result of the fact that the convention was held successfully. So is he ready for this? And he said he's ready. So if I'm to take him by what he said, then I'll be hopeful that at least going forward from now, that the party will be more united. The APC does not have any other problem than the problem of unity. Unfortunately, a number of people that are even aggrieved are even keeping their grievances. You can't see it on their faces. So the number of people that are even coming out to shout that, oh, we have problem with APC, I think they are even better. The major challenges are with people who have issues and they are just waiting patiently towards the time that the election will be held. And we must begin from the National Assembly. I told you the other time that is where the fallout always begins from. Because this is the strategy, once you polarize your party, you have given yourself constitutional right to defect from that party as a legislator. So if any party is unable to unite its members and they have these factions here and there, then these people will continue to move.
Well, it looks like the National Assembly people that you talk about, especially the person of Saraki and Ugara, they are like, we're ready to give it another chance, a good shot.
That is the blessing.
Because it looks like Oshomole might just be the man to deliver.
Yes, that is the blessing I see in all this. The fact that even the leadership of the National Assembly is coming out to say, oh, we are ready to work. You remember even before he became the chairman, he had a meeting with them and all of them were seemingly very happy. So that is the blessing in all this. And I hope, I have to hammer that again, that God will give him the grace to do what he knows. It's not about knowing what to do. Every leader, at least in Nigeria, as far as I know, knows what the problem of the nation is. Every leader in the party knows that this is the line the party is supposed to toe. But because of politicking, they are not taking it as business. They are just taking it as a game. Now, as a leader of a party, you need to take it as business and walk the talk.
But then when you have the support of your people, it should be an easy task for you. Honorable, let me come to you now. Yes, Senate President Bukola Saraki was talking about having all members on board, having to mend the cracks, already seen in the party by the new chairman, and then knowing that some members were not even present at that convention. How important is it? Should that be the first step, really?
You see, in resolving any issue or solving a problem, you must be able to diagnose what those problems are. And from his perspective, that have been diagnosed. The next thing is, how do we tackle it? We have to bring all the issues to the table, contemporary issues. They have to be give and take. Some wounds need to be nursed, if not totally healed, for us to move forward. The greatest battle that confronts us is the challenges of the Nigerian state, which again is the supreme for the purpose in which we have all decided to engage a political system. And that is more germane. The secondary one are mundane issues that are personal to individuals, and they've been able to highlight that. But again, you see, the leadership also matter. And for us to have somebody like Comrade Adams Oshiomhole, he knows the tendencies involved, and he knows, of course, how to parry it along. And you must not be quick to forget that a lot of those who control the systems are either his colleagues or senior colleagues that he had worked with. And of course, he knows the mannerism in which they think.
But then knowing that we are moving towards election, and there are personal ambitions, of course, would it really be easy, to be sincere?
Of course, it will be a bit bumpy way, but definitely to be smoothing. To be smoothing in the sense that we've all agreed and know that it's better for you to be a backbencher in a winning team, rather for you to be the head of a lost team. I mean, the PDP know what they're suffering now. And
speaking of which, I mean, it's spot on that you actually use that expression. Everybody wants to belong to the winning team. President Buhari actually said that in his speech, that everyone wants to belong in the winning team. But I recall sometime not too long ago, Adams Oshiomhole, of course, before he became chairman, said that the APC will no longer be a party and all comers are fair, that there should be some kind of system to ensure that people who don't share the same ideology don't just jump ship, because you know what, APC is the governing party and everybody wants to identify with it, whether to get some kind of cover or whatever. How is that going to work? Will he have the courage that it takes to do that, like Ojon has said?
Remember, I started the discourse that we are very lucky to have Comrade Adams Oshiomhole, judging from his background, which is an ideological driven background that is firmed up with resilience of struggle. So no matter the tendency, he has been there, he has weathered it, and he knows what it means. Remember, this is a man that went through the full length of the judiciary to claim his mandate. Remember that he's coming from the labor movement background, an ideological background. They don't just take decisions. Things are discussed, things are really jigged before a decision is taken, and once that decision is taken, everybody go full-fledged. And all of that. Talking about string bedfellows, remember several times when I come on your show, I do tell you that it's like a filtration system. As we move on, we get to purify our systems. So as we journey on, you're going to have people that will be groomed to leadership, not just jumping like accident of history into this political system. People will be groomed. And of course, the youth that are coming up now, many of them are not strange to me. They've also come from a background of struggle. So they know the journey that it took them, how far it took them, the pains it took them to get to where they are. And everybody wants to make history. Everybody wants to make history. And when you're coming on board now, of course, the green book or the red book will be given to you. That is the charter of the constitution of our party. Then you have to really indoctrinate yourself into it, read it, stricto sensu. Again, it must be very tolerable. But again, a lot of misgiving have to also give way. There has to be strictness in the system. There has to be sanction in the system for us to move forward.
All right, Doctor, the new national chairman of APC, Adams Oshiomhole, said he would accommodate MPDP. But then, should that even be the news, knowing that at this time we're still talking about a party within a party? What do you think that it would even work well for the APC, knowing that there are other members of another party who, infuse themselves into the APC, but MPDP is still seeing itself as another party?
If you look at really, I said it was some few weeks ago that ordinarily, if there had been unity in the party, we should not be talking about MPDP. But things went the way it went. If not because at that point in time that ACN, there were some members, top members of ACN2, who were aggrieved with the party at that point in time. And I can beat my chest and say that even Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu at a point was not totally happy with what was going on in the party.
But they didn't move against the party. No, they didn't come out to identify with the ACN.
You cannot compare his political maturity with some of these people. He has come of age politically.
True.
You understand? But at a point where you have, this is why the word MPDP is very important. If we are to divide the leadership of the nation today, according to the block where they come from, you discover that when you get to the National Assembly leadership, you will remember that these people are actually from NPDP. And the only thing that differentiates a democracy from a military rule that we are used to is the National Assembly. So they are the hallmark of democracy. Either we like it or not, either they are doing the right thing or not. So it underscores the importance of MPDP. And many of these people, at one point or the other, either right or wrong, they felt that somehow the system is dealing with them somehow, either right or wrong. So that's why at every point in time that we are still talking about MPDP. It's because of their relevance in the current structure, government structure of APC. That's why we're talking about them. At least in the, we do not have an Abga man as the vice president. We do not have this thing. We only have a former CPC person as the president, perhaps a former ACN person as the vice president, and the leadership of the National Assembly from MPDP. So that we like it or not, they have a very great chunk in the party. But I hope that from now, that we will not continue to talk about these rooms in a flat. We already have a flat in the party, and we'll continue to move on. So I think.
All right, I wish we could, go further to even talk about that. But let's even touch on the politics of consensus. When you have the words consensus or affirmation, endorsement, and all of that continue to creep up in our political process, in our democratic process, how is that really good for our democratic evolution? How much traction do you think we can get if we continue to play this politics of consensus?
Well, the question of goodness is subjected to the aggregate of agreement of the people that owns the system. If they have provided a provision in their constitution for consensus, then it must be well entrenched and well utilized. And you see, at times consensus is always very good. Looking at, from the perspective of the financial involvement or the strength and stress involved in it, the only thing that drives consensus is that you must be very good in horse trading and you must be very good in negotiation. I liken it at times to a draft. You know, when you're playing draft, you tend to see that you have a lot of pebbles to win. But again, your opponent could just push one seed in front and you go to take it and he goes just to pick all of it. So you must be very smart when you're discussing in order to achieve consensus. But it's for our common good. It's for our common good. It has less stress in it. There's a lot of maturity in it, and there's a lot of robust
But does it
discussion.
not leave out other people who genuinely would want to be interested in, being part of the deal?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't. You see, in every interest grouping, there's always a fulcrum. And that fulcrum is the leadership.
Yeah.
And that means that you must always discuss with your people. Before you go for consensus, it's not about you.
Okay.
You always relay back to your people that, look, we've gone to the table. This is what they are offering us. You go back to your people, you discuss with them. There's an aggregate of decision that is made at that point. Then you come back to the table and you discuss it. Okay, for now, we give you this. When we get to that other point, we are going to take this. You understand? So in our own kind of climate situation now, it helps to reduce brigandage violence, and of course spendings. It also means that the followership must be very ingenious to think out of the box. Remember, the common good is Nigerian people.
Yes,
it's not about self.
Absolutely.
And we all must be key players in this process.
And of course, we saw how the convention went, especially when it comes to the choosing of the new national chairman of the party. But then, like she said, don't you think that there would be some people, and he mentioned it earlier, that do not like this outcome, that expected an election for the chairmanship position, and somehow could be silently aggrieved and could move against the party later on?
You can never have a perfect system. In this mundane, you can never have a perfect system. But like I said, and I always tell people, it's better you tailor-fit your solution to your problems. Don't think that the solution in America or the solution in Russia can solve our problems.
Yeah.
You must look at the problems on ground. Oh, if we take this route, what are the likely consequences? If we take this route, this is the consequence. But which one outweigh each other that will give us, a seemingly peaceful, perfect solution? And if consensus is the route, let's take it. Because the life of every one man is very important. And they also help to keep money in your pockets. You cannot rule out financial involvement in our system for now.
Sure.
We're not totally ideologically driven to the extent that we look at credence and we look at your objective in terms of your programs and your achievement.
Who's to blame for that? I mean, for that money factor in our
well, it's society. So our society has evolved itself to that particular point, and we have to readdress it.
Dr. John, do you agree? Is it the society that's guilty most of all
Yes,
of this?
in the school of leadership where I belong to, you discover that when you extrude the society very well, the society does not have any problem. But once you combine your own problem with mine, it becomes a societal problem. So the issue is that there are two things that are happening. One is the expectation of the people. Yeah. The people naturally expect that they get something from their leaders. So the expectation of the people, and again, how the courage of the leaders. Because if I will contest today, I will not go to bank and borrow. It shows that I have the courage to accept defeat. But how many people? That's why they make election do or die affairs. So again, the society expectation is there, and the courage on the part of leaders. Until we get to a point where somebody will just rise and say, okay, if I lose, I lose. I'm going to this election, and I'm not going to share money. The person will lose because of the societal expectation, but again, it will have made a point. So societal problem is absent, but when two individuals combine the problem, it becomes a societal problem.
Speaker Yakubu Dogara made a statement. He said that where we are going to is greater than what we are going through. And he called for the need, talking about the need for the members to unite and promote the party. And it seems to be a general message to Nigerians somehow that for you to grow your democracy, really, you have to look beyond what you're going through at this time. So moving towards election, the APC has its work cut out for it, right?
Yes.
So how do you proceed, really?
Well, from his statement, is very deep and is, of course, very encouraging that regardless of what we're facing right now, our eyes must still be on the ball. And the objective must be achieved. The objective of the party is to make sure that poverty leaves our stream, corruption is a thing of the past, and of course we grow our economy. We grow our economy, a science-based economy, and our security is more improved. Those are things that he was talking about, and in order to achieve that, everybody's hands must be on the plow. It's not just the leadership, the followership also have a lot of commitment to put into all this process. Sure. Everybody must be keyed into it.
All right, that's, interesting. One common thread that you could identify in all of the speeches is put personal interest or ambition aside and face the national interest. This question is to both of you gentlemen. Now, while the APC convention was going on, you had former President Olusegun Obasanjo hobnobbing with the Afenifere and, of course, reconciled with Bode George and what have you. The objective, of course, the end goal is 2019. Do you think this newfound love between these persons could actually pose any kind of threat to the APC in 2019? Dr. Ojo, I want you to weigh in on that first.
Yes, forgiveness really precedes any reconciliation. And in the real sense of it, an average politician hardly forgives. An average professional politician hardly forgives. The way we play it in Africa, at least leadership, if you compare.
Why
both,
is that?
It's our attitude. It's placing self before the society. That's the attitude of an average professional politician. And I'm talking about people who want to get to power at all costs. They don't have any other thing they live for. They want to get to power, not to improve the life of an average person, but because they just want to remain in power.
Does that make them professional politicians?
Yes, that's what I call them. It's my language, and that's what I call them. Now, if you have this kind of people, then forgiveness is always very difficult to achieve. And if you do not achieve political forgiveness, reconciliation is always very difficult. And if you do not have reconciliation, then what is the essence of all the promises in the first
So
place?
now that reconciliation is going on, how is it going to impact on 2019? That's my point.
The impact will be minimal. The impact will be minimal. You know why it will be minimal? Because I have not seen, many of the faces I see, I have not seen this sacrifice in the real sense of it. Because by the tail end of this year now, by the last quarter of this year, or before the last quarter of this year, you will see that once the outcome of whatever political party does not favor an average professional politician, it moves to the other political party. And that will still happen. It will happen within the APC, it will happen within the PDP, it will happen within all the non-political parties that you can think about, until we get to a point where we all know that the chairman is contesting for the good of the society, and I'm also contesting for the good of the society. It doesn't matter who wins at that point. But that, of course, I understand will be gradual. But until we get to that point, then you will see that election will continue to divide us as a people, than democracy can unite us as a people.
Honorable Ayodele.
Well, I don't know where he got his data from, but...
Did you get my point?
I got your point, quite frankly. You see, someone did say that the presence of a crisis is not the absence of peace, but the presence of justice. And when you talk about forgiveness, it must be justiciable. You understand? The fact must be put on the table, there must be justice in place so that it does not repeat itself. And when the assurance of not repeating itself comes in, then forgiveness cue in. Even our God that created us says, you must repent from your ways. Repentance is an affirmation of justice.
So this repentance on the part of opposition, Olusegun Obasanjo reconciling with Afenifere, with Bode George, and who else? How is it going to affect the fortunes of the APC in 2019?
But you must understand the character of these people. They're only playing to the gallery. It's not for the purpose of Nigerians. It's for the purpose of creating a distraction from the objective of fixing this country very well. They've all had opportunities to fix this country. The country has been very good to them. But have they been good to the country? That is the subject matter. Whatever they do, all eyes can now see the kind of persons they are. So for me, they are only creating another script on this stage of play, political play. But it does not distract the objective of the APC. The objective of APC frontally is to take corruption out of our system. If that is not taken out, it's a cankerworm. No matter how you nourish the system, no matter how you try to improve on the system, it will always go back to a degeneracy.
All right.
So we are not taking our objective, our focus out of our purpose to take away corruption, to bring infrastructure on board, to make sure that education is key to our development, and to provide security for every one of our citizens. That is our objective.
Okay. Now, the new chairman.
I quickly need to make a point. I think it will have a great effect on APC in 2019. And one of the good effects it will have is that the party will really sit right and tight. Because now there's this PDP mindset. I hate that mindset of coming out to tell the people that we are going to rule for 50 years.
For 50 years, 70 years.
APC had that mindset. I don't know whether they are changing it now. They had the mindset that, oh, the president is so big, is so acceptable.
Well, remember mentioned something like that.
There's no, in the history of Nigeria, there's never been one political person that will come out that will be as popular as the sitting president in 2015. But a lot has happened between 2015 and now, especially the issue of security. And when you're talking about security, we are laying emphasis on the issue of herdsmen. So maybe we continue to encourage people to come together and form a formidable force that will tell APC that they are not almighty, that this is not what they promise and they are not actually delivering the
All right,
promise the
quickly,
same
because-
way.
oh, yeah,
that they
I
promised
wanted to ask you a
do.
question about-
So the good thing
Dr.
about it is that it will make APC sit right, and maybe we will have
All
a
right,
fantastic
Honorable,
government.
yeah, quickly, there are still the talk, something you mentioned about having the proper structures within the APC, the BOT, Board of Trustees.
Not in place.
I did tell you that Mr. Adams Oshiomhole, Comrade Oshiomhole, is a blessing to the party.
Okay.
He understands the
So you
rudiments
believe
very
he'll
well.
fix
so
all
of
all
these
that?
things,
Okay.
he's coming in to fix. And you're
All
going to
right.
see it play very, very
All right,
well.
so is it Uhuru for the ruling party? Let's just wait and see as we move closer to the 2019 election, of course. Thank you very much, Honorable Ayodele Adewale,
Thank you for
APC
having me.
member, and Dr. Ojo, leadership and communication strategist. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming.
Thank you, gentlemen. All right.